Sheela Foam. They also had to come. They also have come out with their earnings with the revenue, PAT, and EBITDA. Actually, if you look at the 9-month FY23 revenue breakup, the home comfort contributed about 81%. Technical foam contributed about 19%. Also, let's talk more on the numbers and where is the road ahead for Sheela Foams with Mr. Rahul Gautam, who's the MD of the company. A very good afternoon, or rather good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. There's Sheryl on the other side. If you look at your numbers, your Q3 actually disappointed owing to volume contraction across all the segments, be it a mattress, foam, foam core, or even furniture cushioning. How was a January run rate, and by when are you expected to see a full recovery?
So, number one, thank you very much for having me. And I must accept that part that Q3 results have not been exactly as we had desired. There was a weak demand. And also when we are comparing it to the corresponding year last year, it doesn't become a real fair kind of a comparison because of the fluctuations that have been there last year and this year. However, the 9-month comparison, we are up by about 6%, 5 to 6%. And we expect that January onwards, or at least this quarter onwards, it should be a far better proposition. And I have no hesitation sharing that January has been good, has been absolutely as per expectations.
Right, Mr. Gautam, this is Vinny joining in as well. I just want to touch upon one thing is that, despite the reduction in your raw material prices, even TDI prices, they've seen a slight bit of a reduce at least coming in. So what has impacted the margins? Maybe only is it the higher ad spends and maybe the one-time M&A expenses? And how are you seeing the margins trend going forward then?
As rightly said, the raw material is trending downwards. However, the real impact comes into operations a little later because there are inventories and there are raw materials in the pipeline. As we go forward, we see the gross margins only increasing. And in fact, for Q3 too, the gross margins were at a good level. It was only those one-off expenses, which were some hedging, mark-to-market kind of, no cash losses, but mark-to-market kind of expenses which had to be sort of written off as per index. Plus, there was a little bit of extra advertising that we needed to do as we came out of the COVID conditions, a little bit of extra that was there. And the third, of course, that you pointed out, that there were some exploratory M&A expenses which had to also be handled. But otherwise, the gross margin was good. And if these other expenses had not, which are one-off, it would have been a healthy EBITDA margin.
Right. So, have you penciled in any guidance for the end of FY23 or even also for the FY24, given the fact that we are just one quarter away from FY24 now? Any guidance that you can share with us when it comes to your revenue or PAT or even margin for the matter of fact?
So I would say the revenue should be on a year-to-year basis should be up by at least in double-digit numbers. And the margins would be at least 12-13%.
Right, Mr. Gautam, and obviously, I want to talk about your most recent acquisition in terms of the Kurlon mattresses which you have acquired for around 2,000 crores is what's coming in. So please could you share us some timeline in terms of the details of this acquisition? What is the current status on this acquisition?
So, ma'am, this is still at a very exploratory stage, and we continue to, of course, as we said, explore. There is some movement, but these things do take time. I cannot give you any timelines, but should be somewhere in the middle of this year if it progresses. But otherwise, these are all exploratory at the moment.
All right, then. We leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Gautam, for joining us on the show to talk about what exactly impacted Sheela Foam's earnings in the quarter gone by and where do you see FY23-24 for your company. We wish you all the best for the future. And that was the management of Sheela Foam. That was Mr. Rahul Gautam, who's the MD and CEO of the MD of the company. I stand corrected. But with that, let's